Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Shrimad His Divine Grace Srila Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Pramsika Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vachari Shri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakund, Radhakund, Giri Govardhan Ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki, Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki, Shri Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham Ki, Gangamai Ki, Jamunamai Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Tulasi Maharani Ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram Ki, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Devi Subhadra Devi Ki, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Ki, Shri Shri Radha Gopal Ji Ki, Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki, Grantaraj Bhagavatam Ki, Namanam Sankirtan Jaggi, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki, Transcendental Prashadam Distribution Ki, Samaveda Bhakti Buddha Ki, Gauratam, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. I hope you're all doing well tonight. I hope you had nice prasadam and nice rest. And you came in a very peaceful, happy, satisfied mood. And now you're very eager to inquire about the nature of the absolute truth. Is that why you came? To inquire about the nature of the absolute truth? Or do you already know everything? So it's explained human form of life. When we come to human consciousness, then we're asking different questions, existential questions. Who am I? How did I get here? Why am I born in this family or that country or in this culture or that religion? What's the purpose of my life? What's the goal of life? Why is there so much anxiety? Why are we being forced to be put into anxiety? Why so much depression? Why so much brokenheartedness? Why so much disappointment? Why so much different types of miseries? Why is that happening to us? And especially, why does it happen to us? We think that maybe it's not happening to other people. But everybody is struggling for existence. They may not outwardly look like it, but inwardly. What does it say? Outward appearances are not inward realities. So everybody is fighting, managing, fighting, trying to somehow make their mind understand, to satisfy the mind, to make the mind senses peaceful, happy. Everybody really has the same desire, and we're just going about it in different ways. But this struggle for existence and having how to control the mind and the senses, how to use it in a productive way that brings you peace and happiness and satisfaction, where to direct your mind or your attention or your intelligence. These are the questions that we're supposed to be asking in human form of life. So Srila Prabhupada, we've been discussing that when the living entity realizes that, wow, my heart is being pierced by this materialism and being disappointed and frustrated materially, exhausted materially. You fix one problem and then you get 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 other problems. So it seems like it's endless endeavor. So what is really going on here in this world? And then what is material life? What is it all about? You know, the promise of materialism, that you just get a good education and to get a good job and get some good money. Then you can get a good wife or husband or family. Because if you don't have anything, it's difficult to get a good anything. And then once you get all of those things, education, job, money, family, house, cars, boats, ships, so all the material toys, sometimes they make a joke, whoever gets the most amount of toys, he wins. So whoever can play with the most amount of vehicles and boats and planes and helicopters and how many toys you can accumulate. So it looks like you're winning the game. You're winning the materialistic game. But then even as you achieve all of those things, and then you realize, actually, I'm still not happy. I'm still not satisfied. I'm still not peaceful. All miseries, anxiety doesn't go away. It actually increases. So then we start asking the question, okay, are we convinced yet about this idea that just pursuing materialistic way of life is going to answer all of those questions? It's going to solve all of your problems, all of your anxiety. It's going to make you satisfied and pleased and happy. Are we still thinking that materialism and pursuing materialistic life, will it really achieve any of those things? Or will it in fact more complicate the life? Because it says that every little pleasure that you have to pay for that in suffering and anxiety later. So nothing is free. For every action, there's equal opposite reaction. So for every sinful activity, there's sinful reaction. So it's not free. Nothing is free. You have to pay for it. And then when the receipts come in, and you realize you just had a little bit of pleasure, but the receipts are very, very high, then you start to see the imbalance, the price for a little bit of pleasure, and it's not really worth it. So human being, by their life experience, is meant to analyze and rationally, consider all of these points. But because we're already not so qualified in this Kali Yuga, and because the whole system is meant to pollute the consciousness, cover the intelligence, make the intelligence, mind, and senses more and more dull, more poisoned by materialism. They poison the food, they're poisoning the water, they're poisoning the educational system. Every major so-called authority or institutional authority is not helping us. It's actually part of the problem. So then you start questioning authorities. And it says that when Prabhupada talks about spiritual revolution or any type of revolution, because now you see the world everywhere, everyone's like in this revolutionary mode. Because the people get fed up with the nonsense and the cheating and the exploitation and manipulation by the so-called leaders, the elite, so-called elite class of people. And then they're trying to force so many policies and agendas on the population. and the people are not behind it, they're not supporting it, unless you're brainwashed enough to just blindly accept it. But if you're reasonably intelligent, you'll start questioning, are these policies, agendas, motivations of the world's leaders, of political leaders, our so-called authorities, are they really looking out for us? Are they really our well-wishing friends? Are they really trying to take care of us, protect us? They're trying to make it like they're looking after you, protecting you, making you safe. But the populations are not, the people are not happy. Regardless of your ism, regardless of they control the police and the military. So the police and military are there to protect those leaders from the people while they force and enact laws and agendas and policy on the people, which is not ultimately in their best interest. It's in the leaders' best interest. So all these different political systems are all demoniac because they're all selfish. It's all based on manipulation, control, exploitation of the masses of the people. And when the people revolt, then the first thing they do, the governments, they take away everybody's guns, they take away everybody's weapons, everybody's, social media, right? They try to control mind, control your speech, control your ability to organize, control the threat that you may pose against the people who are trying to exploit and control and manipulate you. And the people are just cannot fight back. They cannot oppose it. So then everyone's harassed. And they keep everybody so harassed that you're just burning all of your energy just to survive, just to take care of your family, just to get by. And then you have to work like an ass. Everybody mostly is put into heavy debt. So central banking system is a debt business. So everybody's in heavy debt and everybody's just working hard to pay off the debts. This is just the reality of material life. So that's why you see the populations in all of the different countries around the world. Nobody's happy. Nobody's satisfied. Because we understand what his authorities are doing to the people. And then anyone who's strong, anyone who has ability to organize, anyone who can speak the truth, they are silenced, canceled, threatened, killed. That's the reality of the material life, isn't it? Am I missing something? So if you take this whole package of material existence under the control of the government and answerable to God, not to the state. The state is not God. The elitists, the leaders, they come and they go based on how much corruption they can manage. And so this whole system is faulty from the beginning, the middle, and the end. It's designed to work against the best interest of the people. And then the reality is just asking ourselves, are we happy? Are we peaceful? Are we satisfied? Do we trust the authorities in our life? And then you see political systems, they control the religions. You see, because people are generally sentimental. They may have a simple faith. They're emotional. And so they understand that you have to control the religions in order to control the masses. So then you have state-owned, state-run religions. And then the religions are just arms of the political class in order to control the people using the emotional, sentimental, superstitious belief systems of everyone's particular religion. So we were discussing that when you talk about, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Hindu, you're just defining your body, the family, the country, the culture, the religious system you're born into. But the soul is different than the body. So the soul, everyone is eternal servant of God, eternal servant of Krishna. So Krishna consciousness is non-sectarian. There's no prejudice based on your bodily consideration. It's more on soul, transcendental, spiritual consideration. But most people are in three-dimensional consciousness, material consciousness. They're identifying with their body, their family, their country, their political system, the materialistic system, their culture, so-called religion. So everybody is under the influence and controlled and brainwashed in this three-dimensional materialistic conceptions. So that's why it's been discussed. Prabhupada was saying, Krishna is saying, you have to be free from all of these material designations to understand really about spiritual life. And so you see all of the wars in the world, everything is fought over religion, isn't it? Because people are emotional, sentimental, and then they're trained to believe that if you don't believe what we believe, then you are from the devil, you are a demon, you are less than human, and you are fit to be our enemy, and therefore you're fit to be killed. So these governments dehumanize anyone who doesn't believe what they believe. And even amongst the same religion, you have different sects, different branches, Catholics, Protestants, evangelical, so many different, thousands of different sects, even within one religion. For Muslim, you have Sunnis, Shiites, they're like consider themselves like eternal enemies. And all these divisions within all of these different religions, it's based on who's the true representative, the true authority and representative of God within that religion. So this Jesus family, is it Muhammad's family? Is it his followers? So is it biological lineage, succession? Is it based on faith or spiritual, consciousness? So all these different divisions are there. And because people don't understand scientifically, then everything becomes emotional, sentimental. And then whatever the authorities have said, those so-called authorities, generation after generation, we're just told from birth through educational system, through religious system, this is what you're supposed to believe. And this is what the authorities have said. And you're not to question authorities. So these are the authorities. This is what they've said. This is what you should understand. This is what you should just accept blindly and don't question it. Otherwise, you'll be antisocial. And everybody wants to fit in by nature. Everyone wants to be socially accepted by our nature. So all of these things are forcing us to think and to act in a particular way, and we're not even really questioning it. Just blindly following it. So anyway, we've been discussing that Prabhupada said when you're fed up with all of that and you want to remove yourself from all of that indoctrination, manipulation, brainwashing, control, exploitation, how to think, how to feel, what to speak. When you want to get free from this type of control mechanism of materialism, then you want to, how do you go for liberation? How do you get liberated from all of that materialism? So this is first step towards looking away from materialism and more towards some spiritual topic. And then when you start to think about spiritual topic, oh, we may be raised in certain religion, we have certain belief system, certain things we're told to believe. And then we ask, well, do I really believe that? Do I really accept that? What is the basis? What's the foundation? Recently, I wrote something. I said, because everyone's always fighting about religion. And I said that devotional service to God, the mood of loving devotional service to God, this is real religion. Even Prabhupada saying there's no Hindu. No such thing as Hindu. There is only Daivi Varnashram and Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma means pure devotional service to God, to Krishna. And that is executed in Daivi Varnashram system. So Varnashram without Daivi is just another material cult, which is just being manipulated for selfish, materialistic purpose. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Am I in the right track?
Yes.
So it says in the Christian faith, love God with all your soul, your mind, your senses, with everything, with all your power, all your energy. Just try to somehow love God. And then you have these fanatical Christians that say, this is not biblical. You didn't quote from the Bible. You say, well, the truth is truth. And anyway, it says in the Bible, an Old Testament, Jesus said that love God with all your intelligence, your mind, your senses. Then you go back to God. You go back to Heavenly Father. So everybody is just controlling with their intellectual understanding, their so-called scholarly understanding. Everyone presenting themselves as some kind of an authority. So they want to interpret, they want to put everything in context according to their understanding. So for a simple person who's just trying to understand about God, about spiritual life, this is what you have to be confronted with. And again, so many authorities are there. So what authorities do we accept? So it's very bewildering. We don't even know what's going on materially or how to get out of it. And then even you want to go for spiritual, and it seems so bewildering and confusing to understand, what is real, what isn't, what is truth, what isn't true. So conditioned soul is in a very, difficult situation, almost an impossible situation. So that's why he comes to this planet. He sends his devotees, he sends Jesus, he sends different representatives, he empowers different people to speak the truth. Most times it's time, place, circumstance, it's partial, it's incomplete. A lot of times very faulty in nature also. Very speculative. So Krishna is coming and he's establishing himself as God. He's not leaving up to conditioned souls who don't know anything to try to figure out on their own who is God. What is God? So Krishna comes to reestablish religious principles. Over time, because of so much sinful activities, because of so much forgetfulness, so much materialism, then we don't know what is what, especially spiritually. And even if you try to go for spiritual understanding, we have no real experience, we don't have any real training, we're not necessarily scholars, we don't know the Bibles, we don't know the scriptures. We know a few spiritual people, they don't seem so spiritual. So it seems like a daunting task to understand all of these topics. And it's fourth-dimensional, transcendental topics. We're not even conscious three-dimensionally what's going on. So all of this is explained not to make you feel bad. It's just meant to make us realize that by ourselves, by our own power, our own strength, our own intellect, our own mental speculation, we're not going to figure this out. We are completely dependent on God's mercy. And if we realize how dangerous it is, and how many pitfalls, and how many challenges and obstacles, impediments are there, how we're going to, discern or understand any of that, and understand it properly, and then overcome it. This is almost impossible on our own. It is impossible. So anyway, this is the predicate of our discussion tonight. So now we'll quote from the scriptures, because these are the law books, not from the man-made. Man-made laws means that they're trying different things and seeing what's logical, practical, ethical, moral, pseudo-religious, but those laws are all changing according to the whims and the desires of man. So it's not universal laws, it's man-made laws. But the scriptures, the Vedas, They are law books where God himself lays down the law, explains the laws. So until Krishna establishes himself as absolute truth, until we have that faith, then only we can take the scriptures and the Vedic instruction representative of God, of Jesus, of Muhammad, of Moses, of God himself. And then you see all these preachers, all these teachers, God came to me and he told me like this and this and that. And you're like, God's talking to this guy in the backyard before the barbecue. And he told me like this and this and that. The world is going to end on October 12th. This is the last and final testament. This is the end of times. So all these people are saying that they know God, God's talking to them, they're representative of God. They're representative of God. They're telling God told me to tell all of you some message. And then they're all saying something different. So then it's like, well, first of all, it's so confusing. Are any of them connected to God? And of course, all of them say some truth. So you hear some truth and you say, okay, that's true. So which part of what are they saying is true? And which part of it isn't? And so it's all being manipulated. And they have to establish themselves as some kind of an authority. Because if they don't have some authority, and they can't prove to you their authority, then why will you listen to them? Under what authority are they trying to represent God and, giving you instructions that's supposedly coming from God? So you have to almost blindly accept what are they saying. Or if you're smart, you'll be like, well, how do I know that's coming from God? And what makes this person some spiritual authority? Krishna is ultimate authority. So he comes and establishes himself as the ultimate authority. And he establishes the truth, the absolute truth. So no other religious books in the world where God himself comes and establishes himself and establishes the absolute truth himself from his own lips. Everything else is Messiah or representative of God. And they're saying, just follow my instructions and I'll help you how you can go to God, how you can understand God. But it's not God himself saying. It's just representatives of God. And they're coming 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, not even 5,000 years ago. Egyptian, 3,000 years ago. Jewish, 2,000-3,000 years ago. Christian, Muslim. These are all modern religions. So if the world is millions of years old and there's previous civilizations that are living here hundreds of thousands of years before, the truth means Sanatan Dharma Bhakti, devotional service to God should be done through Daivivan Ashram system. Daivivan Ashram system will come in bona fide authorized sampradaya. And within that bona fide authorized sampradaya, there is a specific disciplic succession in that sampradaya. So that is not for conditioned souls to speculate about. That's already been established by the Lord and the Lord's disciplic succession from Parampara. And what they're presenting is the same exact truth. Nothing added, nothing subtracted. And Prabhupada said that is the proof of them being bona fide disciplic succession from Parampara. Prabhupada said that why I'm successful is whatever Krishna said, I'm just saying same exact thing. I'm not interpreting it. Krishna doesn't need to be interpreted. I'm not changing anything. I'm not concocting anything. I'm not manufacturing anything. I'm not adding anything. I'm not subtracting anything. So when you could present Krishna as he is, as he's speaking, and it's empowered from Krishna, that's the very definition of the work of that person who would be in, or selected to be in, disciplic succession Parampara. So Prabhupada said you should hear from Krishna, like Arjuna, same instruction, Bhagavad Gita, and then you should hear from Krishna Parampara, disciplic succession, those bona fide authorized authorities within Vedic system. And that's the only thing that is true and absolute. And everything else besides that is all tainted with some type of materialism, sentimentalism, gross, subtle material desire, other interests, other desires, other purposes, agendas. It's impure. Then you're adding some other thing into it. Karma, jnana, yoga, gross, subtle material sense gratification. This is all kaitava dharma. It's all cheating religion. So Krishna himself is establishing what is pure religion. No separate interest, no separate desire, only how to serve God, how to give pleasure, how to render loving devotional service to God. You can't get even religionists, spiritualists even to agree on that point. And what is the point and purpose of religion? And then we're just meant to follow authority. Hare Krishna. So what authority will we follow? We can make ourselves our own authority, and we can come up with our own truth, or we can seek some guidance, instruction from other authorities, but are they really authoritative? Are they really authorized? So Krishna already figured everything out. Who is God? What is absolute truth? What is perfection of religion? What is the system of civilization which allows that perfection of religion to be practiced and executed? who are the spiritual authorities that are bona fide authorized to understand and promote that same absolute truth without adding and subtracting anything to it, then it's just meant to be heard and accepted. Any questions so far? So I better quote some authority right now because you guys are getting nervous. That's the beauty of our system, is that we can quote directly God's words. No other religion can do that. So let's see what Krishna has to say about all of this. And then you see how close am I in my understanding. Otherwise, how will you know what I'm telling you, whether it's accurate or not? Are you ready?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
57. We're quoting the love books. Prabhupada said, I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to trust Krishna. If you can learn how to depend on Krishna and trust Krishna, Krishna will convince you. Krishna will give you intelligence and favor. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Please repeat. 1857. Chetasa Savakamani Mahi Sanyasya Matpara Buddhiyogam Upashritya Machita Satatam Bhava Chetasa Savakamani Mahi Sanyasya Matpara Buddhiyogam Upashritya Machita Satatam Bhava Chetasa Savakamani Mahi Sanyasya Matpara Buddhiyogam Upashritya Machita Satatam Bhava Chetasa Savakamani Mahi Sanyasya Matpara Buddhiyogam Upashritya Machita Satatam Bhava
Chetasa Sarvakamani Mahi Sanyasya Matpara Buddhiyogam Upashritya Machita Satatam Bhava Chetasa Sarvakamani Mahi Sanyasya Matpara Buddhiyogam Upashritya Machita Satatam Bhava Chetasa Sarvakarmani Mahi Sanyasya Matpara Buddhiyogam Upashritya Machita Satatam Bhava
Chetasa, by intelligence, Sarvakarmani, all kinds of activities, Mai, unto me, Sanyasya, giving up, Matpara, under my protection, Buddhiyogam, devotional activities, Upashritya, taking shelter of, Machita,
Machita,
in consciousness of me,
in consciousness of me,
Satatam,
Satatam,
24 hours a day,
24 hours a day,
Baba,
Baba,
just become
just become
to the Supreme Lord. That sort of duty or action is not in the devotional service of Krishna consciousness. One should act according to the order of Krishna, and this is a very critical and important point. That order of Krishna comes through his disciplic succession of parampara from bona fide spiritual master, from the bona fide spiritual master. Therefore, such a spiritual master's order should be taken as the prime duty of life. If one gets a bona fide spiritual master by the mercy of the Lord, and then sincerely acts according to his direction, then one's perfection of life in Krishna consciousness is guaranteed. Om Jnana Tamaranda Shagaranjana Salakaya Chakshavadanjana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasari Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Again, translation. In all of your activities, just depend upon me, Krishna says, and work always under my protection. And such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. So Prabhupada first is saying that when one is acting in Krishna consciousness, we're doing that because we realize we're eternal servant of God, eternal servant of Krishna. We're not acting independently or whimsically and pursuing own interest and desire, but we're acting faithfully under the duress. And this is, Prabhupada said, this is most important point. What does God, what does Krishna want from us? What is our duty? What is our service? What are our instructions from God, from Krishna? And are we acting according to that order of Krishna? So the order of Krishna comes through his disciplic succession, a parampara, from the bona fide spiritual master. Keep him back there 2 months. Keep him back there. Either way. So if one sincerely wants to understand who is God, what is God, who am I in relationship to God, what is my service to God, what is my duty to God, this type of sincere inquiry, Krishna knows in the heart, this person's looking for me. He doesn't know who I am yet. He can't hear my instructions, but he's looking for me. He's trying to figure out who am I, can I hear him? Can I know God? What does God want me to do if I accept that I'm servant of God? So now this person's accepting he's a servant of mine, and now he's asking, how can I surrender and serve God? So that means we have the right motivation, the right spiritual desire. So if that is our goal, that is our desire, that is sincere, serious inquiry, then Krishna, he knows. Because he is the witness. He's in the heart of every living entity. He knows us better than we know ourselves. We're consciously from the lips saying, oh, I want you, Krishna, but from the heart and the mind, we want something else. So we cannot really fool Krishna. He's a perfect witness and judge of our sincerity and seriousness. So it's really a question of our desire, whether spiritually or materially, and the strength of that desire. So Krishna's witness and judge is measuring our desire, materially or spiritually, and the strength of that desire. And as super soul, he's fulfilling those desires. Hare Krishna. Are you checking your bank balance? Huh? I thought maybe you have a good stock you're trying to invest in right now.
He's trying to put it on silent mode so it's not disturbing.
We were not disturbed until he was trying to stop the disturbance. All right? Now nobody's disturbed? That's good. So, the super soul, he knows what is the desire, and then he's giving intelligence and faith and understanding how to fulfill the desire, whether materially or spiritually. So if one is sincerely, seriously trying to understand about God, trying to find out what does Krishna want me to do, what is my service, how can I please him, how can I serve him, how can I have love and affection, how I can do this pure bhakti. So Krishna will know, and he'll give intelligence and faith to approach bona fide representative of Krishna in disciplic succession of parampara. Krishna will give you intelligence and faith to understand who's in parampara. Paramatma Chetu Guru will give you intelligence and faith to understand that. He'll dictate to you. Prabhupada said that the easiest way to understand who's in parampara or disciplic succession is that the spiritual master receives order and instruction from his spiritual master, who is received order and instruction from his spiritual master. So Krishna establishes parampara disciplic succession, and then those persons within that parampara disciplic succession, they are ordering and instructing the next generation to become authorized representative of disciplic succession. Otherwise, how do you know who's in the disciplic succession? All these religions are all bewildered because nobody understands what is disciplic succession. What is the route of God's empowerment in order to help generation after generation of those people, those sincere souls who want to come and surrender unto him. So that intelligence and faith, that comes from Krishna, from Paramatma Super Soul. And then when you meet the bona fide pure biomedium of Krishna, there's only one question, is what does Krishna want me to do? The spiritual master is a biomedium, not of himself, he's a biomedium of Krishna. So the bona fide spiritual master, he knows parampara, previous acharya, and Krishna to understand what is in our best interest. So Prabhupada says here that the order of Krishna comes through his disciplic succession of parampara or from bona fide spiritual master. Therefore, such a spiritual master's order, which ultimately came from Krishna, you should take those orders and instructions as the prime duty of your life. Prabhupada said this is the secret of success in spiritual life, is to take Krishna's instructions that you received through the spiritual master, make that the prime duty of your life, and you sincerely act according to the instructions. Then one's perfection of life in Krishna consciousness, that is guaranteed. So this is the process, this is the secret of success what is our mood, what is our desire. We want to render pure, loving, devotional service. We don't want any type of selfish tinges or other desires. Now we want to just know, okay, what does Krishna want me to do? What are my instructions? What are my orders? What is my duty? And if you're praying like that to Krishna and you're sincere, if we're sincere, then Krishna will give us intelligence. Sometimes we say, well, it seems so difficult to know what God wants us to do because we're speculating and we don't have sufficient faith. And because of false ego, we don't know how to hear Krishna so easily. That's where the difficulty is. Krishna is already telling us what to do. It's not that Krishna doesn't know and he's not telling or doesn't have some intention for us. It's just we're not ready to listen. A lot of people, they don't like it. Because it means to surrender, you have to give up your own will and desire. You have to take order and instruction from somebody else. Then we're not so independent. So our mind senses, false ego doesn't like it. I remember when I went to Bhubaneswar, I'm telling that when I went to India, I was riding on motorcycles and we were swimming in the lakes and the ponds with the elephants, and it was like a safari, you know. And then we're coming back to the temple and we're hearing these nice philosophical classes. So I thought it was like on a spiritual vacation. And then I remember one day I was sitting there and then I was looking down, I was reading something, and I heard my guru, he said, you know, that your life, it doesn't belong to you anymore. And I heard that, I was like, oh, my life doesn't belong to me anymore? That sounds like a heavy statement. And he said, yeah, your life, now you belong to the Guru. So I was like, wow, it's not my life. I don't belong to myself. Now I belong to this person that I just met, like recently. So I was like, that's a pretty heavy statement. My life doesn't belong to me. Now it belongs to him. And then he says, and you have to be prepared to die. And I was like, this was shocking. I'm just trying to figure out, I'm just trying to hear some spiritual topics. I'm trying to see, oh, this is Maharaj, he's a preacher. Now all of a sudden I found out that I actually belong to him. And I don't belong to myself. And that I have to follow his instructions because that's coming from Krishna, and you have no say in the matter. And you have to die trying to follow those instructions. So if we understand the value of the goal, of what we're actually trying to achieve, so how can we expect to reach that goal and achieve those spiritual assets without being prepared to give our life? That's a very unreasonable expectation. So we're going to get delivered out of the suffering of material life, get freed from Maya, being fully engaged in Krishna's devotional service, to develop Krishna Bhakti, Prem Bhakti, and to go back home, back to Godhead. And we just think like that's just like free? Like you don't have to do anything? It's like a Jesus philosophy, right? It's like we just accepted Jesus. We don't have to do anything. No, you have to follow all the instructions. You have to give your life. So Jesus, what a great guy he is. He sacrificed on the cross. He suffered, he bled, he died for us, and then he purified all of our sinful reactions. Now, we can just go on sinning endlessly because it doesn't really matter, because God knows we're imperfect. And he already died for us. He already freed us from any sinful reactions. And when we die, we're automatically going back to him anyway. So we don't have to do anything. This is a lie. This is misunderstanding. So how can we get the topmost thing, get the ultimate spiritual reward, and not think that we have to do something? I always say, you're not just acting whimsically, going here and there, doing this and this and that, and then saying, oh, that's my devotional service. No, you did that for your own pleasure. You didn't do that as a servant. The master didn't ask you to do that. So how you're then offering that as some type of devotional service? So Krishna says, better you do your service, your duty, even imperfectly, than to do someone else's service, even if you can do it perfectly. So better you do your service, even imperfectly, than someone else's service that you can maybe do perfectly. So the main point is, what does Krishna want us to do? And if we don't know, that means we're just false ego platform, sentimental platform, just working under Maya's control. So we're acting servant of Maya, not servant of Krishna. Does anyone have any questions or points on any of this? You see, this is for serious people. First, who seriously wants to get liberated from material life? And then on the positive side, who wants to fully engage themselves in this goal to render loving devotional service to satisfy Krishna and Krishna's senses? That's what this teaching is about. So how many people are interested in that? Not so many. Because this is not a child's play. This is for like really serious people who want to surrender to God and give their life and dedicate their life to follow the instructions of God, instructions of Krishna. So that's not really, it's offered to everybody, but not everybody will take the opportunity because we're not so sincere, we're not so serious as we think, we're attached materially, and really we don't have sufficient faith. We're lacking in the faith. Without faith, how can you fully depend upon Krishna and work under his instruction and be dependent on him? That requires faith. And without Krishna and without Krishna's representative, how exactly will we get this faith? Faith is a gift. It's not like I'm cultivating my faith. Faith means it's coming from outside of ourselves. So without Krishna and Krishna's representative giving us faith, there's no question of developing faith. If we can hear from those who have complete faith, then we'll develop faith by their mercy. Does that make sense? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Swami.
So Prabhupada says, make the instructions of Krishna that you receive through bona fide authorized disciplic succession from bona fide authorized guru. make those instructions your life and your soul. And Krishna said, those instructions, if you follow those instructions, that will purify your consciousness, that will free you from your sinful reactions, and that will liberate you from this contaminated material consciousness. And it will free you from karma bandhana, from action or reaction, sinful activity, sinful reaction. That particular service. And Krishna says, whatever you do besides that, that will contaminate you, degrade you, and keep you engaged in this whimsical, sinful activity, sinful reaction. So it's really very precise. Prabhupada says the Krishna consciousness is an exacting science. It's not everyone just speculates what they think they're going to do for God, and then you just say, well, and I'm doing it with loving devotion, and he said he's going to accept it. We're assuming an awful lot by this misconception. Yeah.
Hare Krishna,
I will. Hare Krishna.
I want to surrender myself to you and seek your guidance. And during our last year's meeting with you, you instructed me that along with my studies in artificial intelligence, I should also develop a spiritual intelligence. And from that day, I am trying to give my best. And
What did we say?
He said he wants to surrender.
Yeah.
And I said last time you met him, you said along with his studies in artificial intelligence, he should develop spiritual intelligence.
Are you doing that? You're studying artificial intelligence? What is the point of artificial intelligence? To give artificial information. So it's opposite. We want real information, absolute, pure, transcendental. Not artificial, theoretical, sentimental, materially manipulated for materialistic purpose. So what is the value of the AI? So are you trying to help to perpetuate and keep everybody in illusion? So how are you going to use artificial intelligence to get anybody out of artificial or theoretical consciousness? What's the goal to do that using artificial intelligence? Is there a way to use it? Huh? So then what is the point of that particular study? What is the goal? Just to get money? Like what's the ultimate purpose of studying artificial intelligence? What are you hoping to achieve by pursuing that line of thinking?
to get some money.
To get some money. So just basically keep everybody in illusion and just give them a better user experience and just get some money from them. It seems opposite. Right? They're trying to say that artificial intelligence one day will become God. That's how crazy these people are. So a bunch of, electricity and rare earth minerals and, some steel and glass and algorithms, that will make God. That will make the supreme intelligence. So you're just basically speeding up everybody's power of mental speculation so that they can more quickly enjoy material sense gratification. Is that a good definition? Speeding up the mental speculation process so you can save more time to enjoy sense gratification in a more refined, quicker, more all-encompassing, sensual way. So you're going to try to liberate yourself and then keep everyone in an unliberated state of consciousness? Are you going to step on their head to get liberated? I'm just trying to make you be thoughtful, because we're just blindly accepting everything. Oh, I'm doing engineering. I'm doing technology. I need to get a job and make money. And okay, from external point of view, we get all of that. But what's the meaning of it? What is your consciousness? What is your motivation? What is your goal? What is the effect or the results of your actions, and how that influences other living entities? We're not taking any of that into consideration. So we should be very, very thoughtful. And I'm not saying I have the answers for all of those things, but those are definitely the questions and the inquiry that I think is required as we try to understand how these things can be seen in relationship to Krishna and possibly used in service to Krishna. And if that's not the goal, then it's all superficial and it's all like meaningless, because we're just not thinking through anything. And then I think that we're meant to be much more thoughtful and more exacting, purposeful in choices, decisions that we're making. I think that's the way we have to go. What do you think? Do you agree for that? So you're attached to this AI, right? You want some money, you're seeing the rainbow, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So when I just met you, I just said, do both. Right? Now you're trying to be more serious spiritually. What if Krishna told you right now, give up this AI nonsense and just surrender to me? Can you do it?
Yes.
Will you do it?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
So let's ask Krishna, what does he really want? It's not what do I want. I want what Krishna wants. If I tell you anything besides what Krishna wants, it's not going to work. And then you're going to blame me. Why am I telling like this? So we want to make sure that it's what does Krishna want.
So I only seek your guidance. What's Krishna's plan for me?
So just keep asking Krishna, keep praying to Krishna, and pass the test. Because we can say from the lips, so what does Krishna want me to do? But inside we're like, oh my God, what if he tells me something I don't want to hear? Like, what if he tells me something I'm not prepared to do? So it's easy to say yes, whatever God wants, whatever Krishna wants. But then inside we're like, but it better not be, anything that I can't understand or accept. So we're very limited. We're not trusting Krishna. We have to trust him. Right? So you have to convince Krishna. And then if you convince Krishna, then Krishna will tell you, no problem. So he'll tell us at the same time. Right? So keep trying to ask Krishna, really, what do you want? What do you want? And please make it like 108% clear. well, I think he wants me to do like this, but I don't know. No. If Krishna convinces you, he'll convince you. If we're not convinced, it just means Krishna didn't convince us. So when God wants to convince you of something, of something, can He not convince you? So why we're not convinced? Because He's not telling. Why He's not telling? Because we're not surrendering. We're not trusting Him. We're not trusting Him. We're not surrendering to Him, and we're not asking Him. And therefore, we're just like, oh, I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm just trying to figure out, like, what does God want me to do? It's very confusing, right? Because we're speculating, but we're not trusting, we're not surrendering. Until Arjuna trusted and surrendered, that's when he got instruction. If he's not trusting, he's not asking, he's not surrendering, Krishna's not telling him anything. Because he's just acting whimsically. That's why we don't know. That's why we're groping in the dark. If the whole idea is to make the instructions from Krishna through your guru, your life and your soul, that's the secret of success in spiritual life. If we're not doing any part of that, then what are we calling spiritual exactly? What makes it spiritual? Make sense? Keep praying, all right? And I'll also keep praying, and we'll just keep asking Krishna, what do you want for this person? And when you're ready, and you trust Krishna, then Krishna will tell you. He will tell you. All right?
Thank you.
You? No? Anybody else? The spiritual life is so confusing. I'm just trying to be intelligent. I don't want to be cheated. We're getting cheated anyway. Every step we're taking that we're not surrendering, we're getting cheated. So what intelligence are you using so you don't get cheated? Any last thing? Yes? Shailendra.
Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev.
I will.
So, Srila Gurudev, it says that Satogun is the stepping stone to the Sattva.
Prabhupada said that.
So, even in Satogun, there is like some subtle kind of enjoyment is there.
Yes.
So, it
bodily platform.
in a subtle. So, there can be also it can be an obstacle also that you cannot just transcend this. So that means you have to also transcend this Satogun.
Of course, yeah. Sattva is not our goal, but you got to get there first of all. It's on the way, but it's not the last stop. It's like on the train. You just got to first get there, then you get off that train, and then you get on, the blue line to Krishna. Go from the green to the blue. That's not our final destination. Liberation is not our final destination. But that's required on the way. Make sense? So what is your question?
So like in this platform, because enjoyment is on a like more like subtle,
Yeah.
which is like higher than the gross. So it's like usually very difficult, to transcend that. So like, how can
It's
we?
not difficult to transcend it if you know your goal from the beginning. So if you realize that pure devotional service, if you're fixing up that that's your goal, then if you come and develop good qualities and consciousness and behavior, it's easier to do pure bhakti. Because your body, your mind, your behavior, your environment, your actions, everything is more closer towards the goal. So if you fix up the goal from the beginning, pure devotional service, going back home, back to Godhead, then all of this purification stages and liberation, all of this is just different stops on the way. If you say that your goal is just to be a perfect brahmana, that's the success, then you'll be stuck there. But if you never lose sight of what is your final goal, then everything else will just be some gradual, process of purification in order to make it more and more easier to reach the goal. Then there'll be no distraction of any of the other steps along the way. So fix up the goal first of all. Then everything else is just a process along the way to reach the goal. If you have more purified, controlled mind and senses, it's easier to do pure devotional service. So the more we become purified and more well-behaved, more disciplined, more, proper behavior, consciousness, then it's easier to do pure devotional service. So just don't lose sight of the goal. Don't get hung up on some subtle platform of enjoyment. Because you'll understand that will then be an impediment. It just says like philosophical speculation, like to try to understand what is the absolute truth. So beginning a philosophical speculation where you're trying to search for what is the truth, that's a good thing. It's necessary. But once you get the answer of the science of the absolute truth, then the philosophical speculation is no longer required because you already reached the goal. So if you reach the goal and then you're still philosophically, mentally speculating on mental platform, then you're not engaged in the purpose of the goal of your spiritual desire in the first place. Make sense?
Thank you, Srila Guruji. So, if I fix the goal and if I slowly, gradually move towards it and I get more and more purified, then I can also develop more attraction and attachment, slowly, gradually towards this pure devotional service. So it can continue to further progress like that.
Yeah. Because we'll become less of a demon. You could look at it that way. The more your demon qualities and mentality, desires, attachments goes away, then the more we're behaving more like gentlemen, more like devotee, more like pious, spiritual bhakta. So just get rid of all the bad stuff, and then you'll be left with all the good stuff. Right? So it's a process of purification. So we have materialistic, sinful desires, sinful attachment, in the beginning, very, very strong. But as we're going, if we're doing properly, then the strength of those interests and those desires, it will start to weaken and not disturb you and not really interest you anymore. So it may still be there, something, but it's not enough to deviate us from what is our ultimate purpose, our duty, our responsibility. And then eventually that will also leave you. Because this body always, it's designed to be sensual. The senses are always going to want to be activated. So we're trying to Krishnaize this material mind, intelligence, and senses. So it's a gradual process of purification. Prabhupada gives an example, like if you have a glove on your hand, it's very difficult to touch anything and feel anything because you have this thick gloves on your hand. So the more you purify and you take it off, then you can actually have better sense perception. So the more purified we become in our intelligence, mind, senses, our thoughts, our emotions, feeling, everything will become more sensitive and more spiritualized. The more we become purified. So Brahmana, in the sense of not a position in the society, but more a state of mind or consciousness or behavior, which is supposed to be more simple, more pure, more compassionate, more merciful, more intelligent, more respectful, more humble. Those are more like on the way towards devotee qualities. The Brahmana, they're using their qualities for sense enjoyment. Look at, I have such nice behavior and qualities and peacefulness and thoughtfulness, and so they're still a little puffed up because they have some asset. So if you don't get puffed up and you just see it as that's not our final goal, and then if we get puffed up, that's an impediment, obstacle from reaching the final goal, then we'll not be attracted to them. We'll avoid it because we understand this can stop you. This can make you hesitate. You may get stuck there. So the spiritual master, by his mercy, he's not going to let us get stuck there. He's always going to be, finding fault with us, challenging us, pushing us, not letting us get too comfortable, too complacent. So they'll always put you in some kind of trouble, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he always kept everybody, was it in the red? So just when everyone was like catching up to pay everything off, he opened another temple. So then everyone's just always like chasing, like how to get more money and how to build the temple and how to pay all the debts. So you're not letting everybody just, get some rupees and put it in the bank and just live off of the interest and just like have easygoing life. He's always keeping it like, now go open another temple, now go start another temple, go collect some new people, go collect some funds to build the new temple. So he always kept everybody like chasing like the expansion of the preaching mission. There's no time to just feel, okay, now, what does it say? Work hard now, samadhi later. So now's the time to work hard. not to be complacent. So I'm a Brahmana, you know, I have some rupees on interest in the bank. Now I'm just peacefully watching everything. That's not the goal, right? So I think it's just a gradual process of purification, and that's just one of the stops along the way. But don't get off the train. Just stay on the same train, right? Like when you pick up the train in New York, like what's your final destination? Just stay on the train. You may go through many, many places, many stops, many opportunities, offers to be distracted, but you have to be determined to remember always, you know, what is the goal? What is the perfection of religion? What is the sequence of success to attain that ultimate goal and purpose? Go home, back home, back to Godhead. Develop Krishna Bhakti, Prem Bhakti, go back home, back to Godhead. Never come back to material world. So we have to constantly keep hearing, what is the goal? What is the purpose? Why did we come here? Why did we join? What are we trying to achieve? That always has to be like refreshed, recalibrated, daily. Need to reboot it every day. What am I doing? What am I trying to achieve today? What are the goals today? What is my responsibility today? And we have to try our best and learn from that, get our own faith, our own experience along the way, along the process. Is that all right? What's in like Indian culture, like I want to be a Brahmana one day. Like this is the goal of life, to be a Brahmana. Or like in spiritual life, you know, just the goal of life is just to be a sannyasi. It's just to be a guru. So if you're just a guru and a sannyasi, you've made it. That's the summum bonum. You're a sannyasi and a guru in international society. You have made it. There's nothing else you have to do. That is perfection. You have made it in corporate America. Corporate UN, EU. British success.
Shri Gurudev, during the childhood days, there is some conditioning for a human being. The person is submissive at that moment of time.
Some condition when you're a child.
I think he's talking about being receptive while you're a child.
So my question is basically, can these qualities, that submissiveness, can it be increased or decreased? My question is that.
In terms of your interest and reception, what qualities?
Like qualities to, like for example, humbleness, submissiveness, it should be like the best, like Sukhdev Goswami. So can it be increased for other conditioned souls?
The soul is sadhu. If the soul is part and parcel of God, is part and parcel of Krishna, that means that every soul has those spiritual qualities of Krishna. So the more we purify the material contaminated consciousness and false ego and bodily conception of life, the more that is purified, the closer we get to soul consciousness and spiritual qualities and spiritual consciousness and behavior on the platform of the soul. So it's not something that has to be developed because it's already there. It's just covered. It's just covered over. So if we can get purified, then naturally those qualities come out. So when we're younger, we're a little more pure and we're a little bit more innocent, more simple. That's why childlike simplicity, they're manifesting very, very humble, very nice kind of spiritual qualities because they're not yet so contaminated and covered over by materialism. They're closer to the soul consciousness because they're innocent, they're simple, they're more pure. That's why they're so attractive. And then as the kids are getting older, they become very unattractive because they start developing bad qualities, bad behavior, crookedness, right? Then they're becoming like, they're in the training how to be a good demon now. So that's not attractive. Then they need to be disciplined, they need to be controlled, they need to be purified, they need tapo divyam to try to slow down the contaminating influence, asatsanga. And then the other side is that, like when I would see my spiritual master, he would manifest so nice qualities that I never really saw that before. I never met anybody like that. So when I would see his behavior, his qualities, his consciousness, I would think like this is so attractive that I like to become like that person. So if we don't have this kind of association, there's nothing that like kind of inspires us to want to become like that. It's just like some concept that there's some qualities that are nice qualities, but it's not like right in front of you, right? So when I would get association of my spiritual master, I would think like, I hope someday I can become more and more like him. Because it was so attractive. And then you see all the other materialistic people, it's not nice. It's not really attractive. They're selfish, they're fucked up, materialistic. Okay, they have some materialism, but as a person, in their consciousness, their behavior, their treatment of other living entities, it's not very attractive. Manifesting pride and arrogance and greed, lust, anger, these demoniac qualities. So when we see those qualities, or we see them in ourselves, we should say, this is unacceptable. I cannot act like this. I cannot be like this. This has to change. I have to improve this. I cannot remain like this. But if we have persons that are setting an inspirational goal, that it's possible, that there's a process, that this is something to emulate and to follow in the footsteps and try to desire to become more and more like them, this would be a great, motivator and inspiration for us to try to keep trying to improve ourselves. I think so. Now we're hearing it in the Shastra. We're hearing great saintly devotees and saintly devotees, their behavior and people glorifying them and their qualities and their pastimes. This is also very attractive. Wow, this is like such a special, saintly, godly, perfect gentleman. It's very attractive. But it's if you can see devotees like that, if you can meet people like that, then it's even more powerful. And then if we can see that there are examples of persons who changed because of the power of this process, that will give you faith in the process. That this process is so powerful, this can change anybody, regardless of your background. So demons can become devoted, right? So this is really, when someone was asking Prabhupada, oh, Swamiji, show us some mystic Shakti, some mystic potency. And Prabhupada was pointing to all the Western devotees, and he was saying, that is my mystic Shakti, this is my mystic potency. That these demons are now chanting Hare Krishna, and they're trying to become pure devotees of Krishna. Is that not a miracle? So, I remember when I was with Gurudev and we were doing Padayatra, we were going to the villages, and Gurudev would speak for some hours. It was like pure nectar. And then he would ask us to speak. And I was like, oh, I don't really want to speak in front of Gurudev, I felt like, what am I going to say after everything he just said? And sometimes I would be going up to the microphone and I was like, oh, I really don't want to say anything. But Gurudev's asking me. So sometimes, I would moving a little slow. And I'm thinking, what am I going to say to these people? And Gurudev, he said, just tell them, that you came from America and you had materialistic life and you did all of these things and you were not happy, you're not satisfied by all of that. And then you just kicked it. You gave up everything. Then you came to India. Now you're walking around barefooted doing, Premanam Sankirtan. And now you're happy. Now you're blissful. Just tell them that. Because they're all running after materialism. You just ran away from that place. You're running away from the place that they're trying to go. They're trying to forget their religion, and you're trying to practice their religion. So just tell them, what was your experience? You were miserable. You were suffering. You were not a very nice person. Now you're trying to become devoted. Now you're trying to live a more pious, spiritual, healthy, religious life. And you're getting benefit, undeniable benefit and undeniable changes in your life, your consciousness, your behavior, your qualities. Let them understand the success of the process. Just like in everything that everyone's selling, whatever they're selling, they want testimonials, right? Well, I tried this product and I had a great experience. I tried this process and this is how my life changed. We want to hear success stories. Isn't it? If someone's just a pure devotee and acting like a pure devotee, that's kind of expected, right? But what about demons gradually becoming devotees? And then not just devotee, but how do you become pure devotee? How do you give up any desires materially to reach this goal? That's no small thing. We grew up with a heart full of material desires. So this is a gradual process of purification. And then it's just up to our seriousness of how how committed and how quick we wanted to go. I remember Gurudev would say, look, you can make advancement very quickly. This does not have to take a long time. But you have to cooperate. You have to be simple and you have to cooperate. But because we're not simple, we're not really surrendering, we're not really listening, we're not really cooperating, then it's like, oh, it's difficult, I'm trying to figure it out. Then it takes time. Then it can take a long time. But that's just up to us. Prabhupada said you can be Krishna conscious in a moment if you would just cooperate. Our mind, our senses, the strength of our material desires, material attachment, that's not letting us nicely cooperate. That's the problem. So that has to change, and that change is not easy. Because we have a deep-rooted conditioning, not just in this life, but many lifetimes. But what's the option? Don't do anything, and then go back. You know, we're either moving forward or we're moving backwards. There's no like a middle. Like I'm not going forward, but I'm not going backward. That place doesn't exist. We're either moving forward or we're moving backwards. And now if we're moving forward, we can do it like inch by inch. We can do it like in a snail's pace. Or we can do it enthusiastically and you know, wholeheartedly. Just dive into them. Then it can be very fast. That's up to us. But without faith, without sufficient faith, we're hesitating because we're fearful. If we have really strong faith and we understand Krishna can do and undo anything, then what is the fear? The fear should be that we don't accept this opportunity. That should be only fear. That we're so unfortunate that we're not able to take what's being offered to us. That should be our only fear. Krishna is a well-wishing friend. He's the well-wishing friend of every living entity. He wants us to cooperate and surrender for our benefit. To help us. He's already being served by unlimited, pure, loving devotees, eternally. He's just giving us an opportunity to also get mercy. Does that help? Yeah? Any last thing?
Hare Krishna.
I go, Hare Krishna.
Truly, what is success in life? Please, can you describe?
Just get as much money as you can. Invest in AI and cryptocurrency, and hope the world doesn't blow up in a nuclear holocaust.
In the society we are living, the people want this only. If you have earned lots of money, you got the respect, you got love from your parents. This is the truth.
Love from the parents.
If you have money, if you have a good
They
career,
don't love themselves. You don't love yourself, how are you going to love anybody else? They hate themselves and each other. So it sounds good. Love, 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 love. The word sounds wonderful. Everybody wants love. Everyone wants to be loved. Everybody wants to love. That's natural. But we're doing it in the wrong place because everything here is faulty and temporary. So you cannot fulfill fulfillment and purity of real love. This here is lust, and it's conditional. So as long as you get nice sense gratification, then you love. It's just lust. And as soon as there's not nice sense gratification, then you're falling out of love. When they meet, they be attracted, attached, they say, oh, I met my soulmate. This is a match made in heaven. God made this arrangement. So much love is there. And then the honeymoon is over. And then even if you have a great relationship, which is rare, everyone has to die anyway. So everyone's going to end up suffering in the end anyway. So this is not the place of unconditional love, eternal unconditional love. This is temporary material sense gratification. And because you love the sense gratification, then you say, oh, I love that person. As soon as there's not sufficient sense gratification, you don't really like that person. Even the person can become your enemy. Because now they're not facilitating your sense gratification. Now they're your enemy. Now you don't like them. So, what love are you looking for in the material world? What love do you think is available there?
Actually, our parents have some expectation. No, we have to.
He says, no. Our parents set up some expectation.
Is that based on love? What is the expectation? Let's analyze the expectation. Is that unconditional love? If you put expectation, then where is their love? When you demand and expect, and you try to control that, that's not out of love. If someone really loves, they'll automatically do. There's no demand or expectation. So what demand and expectation are you calling love?
They have some expectation that I should have a good career, I should have earned lots of money, and I have to look after them.
They expect him to have a good career and make a lot of money.
Be a good little demon. Be a good little demon, and by hook or by crook, get some money and share it with your family, and then we'll consider that we love each other. Is that your definition of love? It's very sentimental. It sounds good. But practically speaking, it's very conditional. And unless there's enough sense gratification, unless you fulfill the expectation and the demand, then there's no love. There's the anger, frustration, resentment, disappointment. Because you realize that they don't really love you. You're just a little robot that's been some algorithm has put in you?
So I'm from Kolkata. I left my family and come to my.
What is it?
So he's saying, should I just leave the family and just come to Mayapur?
He's from Kolkata, I'm from Kolkata, and I have left my family and come to Mayapur.
Says he's from Calcutta, but he's left the family and come to Mayapur.
Why did you leave the family if they love you so much? Why did you live? If you're perfectly satisfied in all of these loving relationships,
Today I came here for my mental satisfaction.
yeah, but if you're getting all love there from all of these people, then why is your mental state need some kind of treatment? You need a treatment program from the love that you're getting in Calcutta? You need to join a hospital to get free from the love? What kind of disease of love do you have over there in Calcutta?
Actually,
Actually.
that's a family problem.
Oh. Now the problem. But if everybody loves each other, why is there a family problem?
Today,
Doesn't it say love solves every problem?
Love is all you need.
Yeah, love is all you need.
I had a business. Okay, I had a business.
I had a business.
I had a business in Kolkata.
I had a business in Kolkata.
So
You were in the love business.
actually, I had some loss.
He had some loss.
You had some loss of
Yes.
love or money?
Money.
Huh?
Money.
Oh,
Money.
money. Your love of money.
So I lost more over 10 lakhs of rupees.
He lost 10 lakhs.
Oh my God. That's like the end of the world.
And from that, my parents have told me that you have lost all the money.
So they rejected you?
They rejected me. Every time
But if you don't have any
they used
money,
to pinch me.
if you don't have any money, will they reject you?
Every time my sister, my mom, my dad, they used to pinch me for that reason.
They what?
They used to pinch him for that reason.
Oh. Is they're showing love by their pinching?
Love pinch.
Yes, a love pinching. So suffering is the new happiness? So you see, we're having a little laugh, but it sounds so good. It's like love and my family, and it sounds good. But when you really kind of focus in and dial into it and analyze it, like in reality, then maybe that's different than the poetic nature of the thought, the sentiment, or the words. That means it's part of like an illusion. It's like a Bollywood movie. Now you lost money. Now he's thrown out of the house. Now it's a sad story.
So what is more important? Earning money is more important, or engaging spiritual life is more important?
It depends how much you want to get free from pinching. What happened to the love? problem is then when you don't fulfill material desire and you think these people love you, and then all of a sudden they don't really appreciate you, and they're criticizing you, pinching you, then it's painful because you think they don't really love me. They only love me when I'm bringing money. So that means that love is conditional. So that's disappointing. But we have to experience that. Because then we understand what is material relationships and how it's all conditional, it's all temporary, it's all based on lust, expectation, demands, unfulfilled demands, disappointment, brokenheartedness. That's material relationships. So the only thing we can do is how do we develop spiritual relationships? How do we make the relationships spiritually healthy? Where it's not based on, exploitation or demand or expectation. More pure, more spiritual, more helping each other how to serve God, how to serve Krishna. So then you can spiritualize those relationships. We're not saying, give up all relationships. We're just saying, how do we make it more pure, more simple, more spiritually beneficial for ourselves and our family members? How do we help them spiritually? That's all we're saying. How do we spiritualize it? That means what is our spiritual goals? What is our spiritual destiny? How are we committed to helping each other spiritually? That has to be fixed up. Otherwise, the relationship will be temporary and it won't last. And even if you have a great relationship, eventually that person dies. So it's not permanent. And then everyone, is lamenting because now I'm alone. I lost my partner, or my mother, my father, my relatives. Everybody dying, everybody leaving. I remember when my father was getting old, before he left his body, he was saying, none of my friends calling me anymore. And I said, why not, Father? And he said, oh, they all died. So then you're just thinking about, oh, that means I'm next. Now, nobody's calling him, no one's asking how are you, no telling jokes, no reminiscing about the past. Silence. Memories. Losing memories. Then lamenting, then fearful. So this is not a nice condition to be in. So?
Yes, Guru, I got your answer. I got the answer.
He says, yes, I got an answer.
Yeah. We're a little joking with you, but also we're making also important point. I remember my sister, she used to just kill me with, I just love you, I love you, I love you. And she's putting X's and O's and hugs and kisses and I love you. And I was like, you're killing me with your love, And then if I just try to, be happy and healthy in my spiritual life, she hates it. I want my old brother back. I don't want this new brother. And I said, but the old brother was suffering and unhappy and unhealthy. Why would you want that brother back? And I'm saying, I'll just give you my soul and I'll be your best friend and I'll help you for the rest of your life. And they're like, well, I'm not interested in that. So then what is the meaning of your love, 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 love? It's meaningless. It's sentimental. Love is an action word. It's not a feeling. It's not an emotion. Prabhupada said, my love, your love for me will be shown by how much you'll cooperate with what I'm asking you to do. So it's not, we have a lot of misconception about love. Real love is unconditional. No condition. You're going to love anyone. All right? Thank
Thank you.
you. Yes. Deva, you good? No? Are you missing love? Crazy love?
So he's asking that
You already. I thought he already was doing that. Aren't you every day doing service for Guru Krishna? Are you living in the temple doing service for Guru Krishna? Pleasure? In the preaching mission? Aren't you already doing that? So what's your question? You're asking for that which you're already trying to do. Now we can say, how do I do it better? More quality, better consciousness, more seriousness, more commitment, not so much selfishness. Yeah, how do we do it better? That's a good desire. That's necessary. Well, I never forget what he said, Guru Maharaj, thank you for tolerating my service. And at first I was like, what kind of service has to be tolerated? What is the quality of service that has to be tolerated? Is it loving devotional service? Isn't it appreciated? Are we grateful and appreciative? If we're saying thanks for tolerating it, it means it's very toxic, poisonous.
So he's saying that sometimes he makes some mistakes while doing services.
Really? You making mistakes? What's wrong with you? Of course we're going to make mistakes. But we have to learn by the mistake. And we have to be humble. And we have to recommit ourselves to do it better. It's a process. We're trying to go from being selfish demons to a selfless devotee. Of course there's going to be mistakes. But we have to not tolerate the mistakes. We have to push ourselves and not to be satisfied by that. We have to say this is unacceptable. This cannot stand like that. This cannot stay like that. And we have to ask for forgiveness. And we have to do better. We have to take action. Not just feel sorry for ourselves. Do something. God helps those who help themselves. If we don't like it, then do something better. Try to improve. We have to learn by our mistakes. Also, we have to see what works and what doesn't work. That's also good. We're getting good instruction. We ignore the instruction. We get a bad result. Why we get a bad result? Because we ignored the instruction. We didn't execute it as it is. We speculated. We're sentimental. We hesitated. We're doubting. We're being foolish, stupid. Listening to this stupid mind, finding fault, criticizing. So we have to see what is the reason that we're not advancing. That means we're doing something wrong. We've misunderstood something. So we have to get a right understanding. Have to clarify it, get confirmation, and then with that new information and clarification and confirmation, and rededicate yourself. And again, get your own experience. Get your own faith by executing properly those instructions. Prabhupada said the instructions of the spiritual master is non-different from the spiritual master. So if we want mercy from our spiritual master, we have to try to follow his instructions. We have to deserve it. We have to take shelter of the instructions if we want to feel the presence of Guru and Krishna. Prabhupada saying, you just follow the instruction and say, Krishna, through my Guru, has given me this instruction. Let me do it in the right mood, right consciousness, with the right motivation. Then you deserve mercy. You deserve mercy. You don't even have to ask for it. But if we're not doing anything, say, oh, Gurudev, I need mercy. Kripa Koro, Kripa Koro. Oh, Krishna, Kripa Sindhu. Mercy, where's the mercy? My Gurudev, you say, Krishna will say, why are you coming to me? Krishna will say, why are you coming to me? I don't have anything. I left it down there. I left all my mercy down there with my devotee, my representative. Go there. Prabhupada said, somehow or other try to please the spiritual master because he's holding Krishna's mercy. He's making us to deserve it because otherwise we're just squandering it. Okay, sometimes we get some causeless mercy. We don't really deserve it. But we can't just walk around saying, I just need more of that causeless mercy. We have to earn it. Sometimes in the beginning you just get like free mercy. Okay, do something now. It's nice. You got some nice mercy. Okay, now this is what's possible for you. Now do something. Try to deserve mercy. That's the only shelter and protection. Krishna, supreme protector. He's protecting us from Maya. He's protecting us from uncontrolled mind and senses. So he has preaching movement in Sampradaya, in disciplic succession. Daivivanashram system is Mahaprabhu's preaching mission. So take your instructions that are given by Krishna through the Guru and do your contribution to the preaching mission, whatever that service is. That's what you can do. That's how you'll be plugged in to Guru Krishna Samsara. That's where you can perceive spiritual shelter and protection, spiritual strength, inspiration, Guru Bala. Then you'll be strong. If we disconnect from the Guru, disconnect from the instructions, then we're just no shelter, no protection, out of controlled mind and senses. Maya is just sitting there, playing there, controlling there, thinking, feeling, willing. You cannot stop it. You can't just say, okay, I'm gonna just die in the Dham. That's my goal. That's kind of pathetic. And it's not going to work anyway. Because if you commit sinful activities in Holy Dham, you're going to be thrown out of the Dham. It's not like free ride. You see people that say, I'll never put my foot outside of the Dham. Where are they now? Pumping gas in New Orleans. Trying to get some money. Come and build one of these mansions over here. So this you cannot stay in Holy Dham and commit sinful activity. You get 10 times the punishment. If you do devotional service in the Dham, you get 10 times the spiritual benefit. It's heightened benefit. But you commit sinful activity in the Dham, you get 10 times the punishment. So what shelter and protection do you think you're going to get in the Dham with uncontrolled mind and senses? Committing sinful activities is not going to work. This is not a place, I'll buy some real estate. No. You think you're going to make a material transaction of material real estate in the Dham and stay here perpetually? It's not going to happen. That's not why it's here. Understand, Deva? Why are you here in the Dham? What are you trying to achieve here? Perfection of cookie making. That's your dharma. That's your Kurukshetra. Why is Kurukshetra? Because you have your mind you have to battle with while you're making the cookies. So that's a Kurukshetra. That's your battle. Any last thing? Yes, young man.
So he's saying that sometimes some like a senior devotees,
Someone? Teenage?
He says some senior devotees.
they make mistakes and then he gets angry on them. So like how the like
Beat them. Beat them. Beat them with the shoe and say, you're supposed to be senior devotee. I better be careful because he might take that as absolute statement, you know?
Who they said.
Who they said I have to beat you with the shoe. Because you're a senior devotee. Look, everybody is in the process. Like when you go in the hospital, there's some people with serious disease, right? And they've been living in that hospital, right? For like 3 months. And then you're just coming there and you're just getting your treatment now. You're only there for 1 week. So you're saying he's senior person in the hospital. Because he's been here for 3 months. He just knows, you know, where to get some water and where the bathroom is. What time you can get a sandwich for lunch. They have some like basic information. Right? Because they've been in the hospital longer, you know. You're still trying to find out like where's the bathroom and what time is the breakfast.
it's saying how to become like simple and
I thought I was going to say, how do I become a senior devotee? Then I won't be mad at them anymore. If I will just become senior devotee. Look, everybody is trying their best. They're struggling. They have challenges, obstacles. Still, they're trying to help you. So, be grateful. Don't get angry on them. Pray for them. What's the other point?
He asked how to become simple.
Chalendra, why is your shishya asking me so many questions? You're supposed to answer all these questions. Is he the guy who's angry at you? He's angry on you? He's too mad at you to ask you the question, so he's asking me. But then if I make some mistake, then he'll get angry at me also, right? Deva, it's not easy, man. Not easy. Ups and downs. All right, did you sleep good last night? You had a good rest?
No.
You need to sleep more. Your brain is working overtime. You're having like a little breakdown. So you need to rest nicely. Let your brain rest. Chant nicely. Take nice prasadam. Then everything will be all right. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for your time and your association over the last few days. I think we had some nice discussions, nice topics came out of that. We'll be leaving soon to go to Assam to continue our preaching mission. And I hope you will try to practice some of these things and get your own faith and your own realization that will help you. And then we'll be back again, we'll meet again, and we'll continue our discussions, and this way we'll move forward. We'll try to help each other. All right? Thank you. Thank you. Shishi Gornitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Govinda Swami, Srila Gurudev ki, Samaveda Bhakta Vinda ki, Gaura Premanande. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. What did you, let me give you a dollar. There you go. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.